welcome to another episode of
Mum
and Son. I'm Jay, I'm the son.
and I'm Alicia and I'm the mum.
Okay. So this episode, let's jump
Wow,
right into it.
you're jumping right into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought about, because we were talking about this one, weren't we? And you know, it's about how to receive.
Yes.
You
receive.
know,
Yes.
maybe it may sound a bit unusual, but I felt that as we were talking about it, it was something worth, you know, and that is receiving on many different levels.
Yes.
You know,
like always, we've got many levels
many
and sides
levels
to,
to everything we do. But often, the reason, you know, I thought I'd bring it up is because so often people, you know, kind of are concerned about not getting the things they want, not having the things they want, not receiving, you know, the things they want, and wondering how, when, where, if it's going to come to them.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, I guess this borders on our previous episode where we spoke about things being out of your hands and things being part of the external that you can't control. Okay? So when we were talking about this, about receiving, I was saying to you that all in all, when it comes down to something like this, you literally have to surrender and just open yourself up and say, I am open to receiving whatever it is that you want to receive. Just say you are open to receiving it. It doesn't mean you put a time frame on it. It doesn't mean that you stamp your foot down and say, why is it not happening? When, if you let go and you say, I'm open to receiving. I'm open to receiving the right job. I'm open to receiving the right person in my life. I'm open to receiving, you know, this particular home I wanted, or this particular car I wanted. You can spread it across board, basically. But you have to be open to receiving it first, to help it come your way. What do you think?
I think, you know, I agree with everything that you've said, and sometimes what I find is that it's not even the thing that you want that you'll also receive. Sometimes it's the next step or answer or
guidance
or opportunity or guidance that can also match you with it.
Correct.
Ultimately as well.
Sure.
And that's the thing, because when you're open to receiving, sometimes it might come through an idea that can lead you on to the thing, or it might come through the right person, or just sort of anything as well.
Anything can be a step.
Yeah. So, and I find for myself as well is that even if I have a goal or something like that, and I might sort of go, okay, with my ability and my action that I put into it, I might try and do something by this time or this deadline or like something like that. But when that becomes a bit too unhealthy and I'm thinking, gosh, time's going by and I haven't done this and this is going on and so on and so forth, that's when I then become more general in a sense of the receiving thing, which I think is a more general thing, which is better sometimes, because that cluster or that block of this hasn't happened yet, I'm still waiting for it, is it going to happen, or all of that kind of resistance that you can build some of the time. When you say something, I'm open to receiving, receiving, it's so clear. And it's so general that you're not trying to counteract and go, oh yeah, but I said I've got 2 months until I reach my goal and I said I'll do it by then. You're opening yourself saying, I'm open to receiving. So that means it could be right now, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen whenever, but making you open, you're going to be open to
for it to come in any way,
because there's no resistance being built up, if that makes sense. So that's when I also use that as well, is sometimes if I've set something and I'm getting too sucked into these specifics and trying to control it, and then I say I need to sit back and know that I'm doing what I can and just be open to receiving, and knowing that it just opens you up on an energy level, I think, and even on a thought level. It's like any passing things, worries here and there, you just say to yourself, I'm open to receiving.
Yeah,
open to receiving. So it's almost like it's going to happen. Everything's going to be fine.
It is. It's a nice sort of string of words to say, because it's kind of affirming and trusting at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, you know, when you surrender sometimes to things that are out of your hands, you have more strength in surrendering than you have in controlling, if you get what I mean. Do you know, do you know what I mean? It sounds funny, I know.
Yeah.
But like, you know, there is more power put into your hands when you surrender than there is when you're trying to control things.
Yeah,
You know, you kind of like allowing positive things to come. Open to receiving allows you to not put a time frame on it and to be open for things to happen in a natural way.
Yeah.
What I sometimes refer to as universal timing rather than our timing, because we all want to say, I want it by this, I want it by then. It's got to happen at least by this time, or if not, you know, and then you want to know all the answers. How is it going to be? What will it be? You know, you can't know all those things because, as we talked about in the previous episode, many of those things are out of your hands. But what you can say is, I am open to receiving it when it's coming, when it's ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
When it arrives, I'm good to go.
Yeah,
you know,
but
when it comes to me, I'm open to swinging into action, and that is a powerful position to put yourself in, rather than one of worry and fear and not knowing, and feel as if the world is collapsing because you don't know those things. You know, we do all want answers, and we do kind of want to know when they're going to come and what will happen and da. We want to know those things, but in truth, we can't fully predict the future.
Yeah, like it kind of, and it also reminds me a bit of Wayne Light Dyer, like when he was going and reading the Tao Te Ching. He talked about, and it reminds me of that analogy he talked about, which is a bit similar, as when you try to cup water, you know, if you try to squeeze the water, it will just
come out of
your
your
hands.
Yeah.
But when you do it so delicately and open, your palms open, and it's in a delicate way, you're able to cup it.
Scoop up,
So that's the thing. When you try to over control, it can create a resistance. But when you're open, a open palm can take more than a closed one can.
That's amazing.
And
that's lovely.
That's
I like
how I
that
think
one.
of it and how I see it. And it's not to say that you can't set a goal or you can't do this, or, you know, someone know, like if you've got a goal where it's the start of a new year, or it's the start of your birthday, or it's just the start of a new week or month, and you've got a goal here and there. Like, it's nice to set those things because it can give you a sense of direction.
Of course.
But what I find is that if it gets to a point where you're kind of forcing yourself to stay positive, because you feel like, oh, it's not happening fast enough, or it's this, or it's that, or oh, this has messed me about, and so on. When you go back to what you said, I'm open to receiving, you know, and sometimes it can be that thing. I'm open to receiving the perfect job. I'm open to receiving great health or better health, or whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
You doing that opens you up to staying on course. I find when I do things like that, I stay on track. Everything's good. New ideas come, as I said, new opportunities, things, people, answers. If I feel a bit lost, they all come because you're open.
Exactly. And I feel that wording, you know, which, you know, I was telling you about, is also a validation of your intentions to come. You know what I mean? You're validating that, you know, it's on the way, and you'll be ready for it when it arrives.
Yeah, but that's it. You're almost in the feeling of it's certain, and that is
coming.
And that is coming.
It's coming. It's
but
on the way.
That's the thing. You're also not forcing it to the point that, because here's the funny thing. Sometimes you can do things and then your mind can counteract it with, oh, but that's not true, or oh no, things aren't here yet, or oh, oh, look how far you have to go. It can do that, and that's why it's good we're talking about this, because people will be going through a similar, I'm guessing most people will be going through a similar thing. So when that happens, and just like let me try, like, you know, like just like that, when that you go, I'm open to receive, you neutralize it. You neutralize it, and that's why I think it's so important. Yeah, because you just you neutralize it. It's the same with that. Let me try one. Yeah, you're not counteracting with, well, I'm gonna show you and watch me and I mean, you can do that if that works for you, but if that doesn't work and you keep going back and forth, let me try. That's what we said about when you were going for things and so on. But for this one,
the let me try is these words are so powerful. You know, let me try. And I'm open to receiving. Yeah, I'm open to receiving. So for this instance, obviously open to receiving is the thing, but I'm just saying it reminds me of the let me try it. Is that they're so easygoing and simple and stuff that you don't counteract it. Yeah. But it opens you up for so much good. Because let me try meant that you were not going to hold yourself back. Yeah. You could put nothing in your way to stop you doing something by just saying, let me try. Yeah. Let me see what happens. Yeah. And that, you've got to watch that episode. Yeah. If you haven't watched it already.
It's one of the earlier ones.
It's one of the earlier ones. Go back and, you know.
Check it out.
Check it out. But this one is a nice sort of balance as well. Similar.
Yeah, in this context.
But this is things coming to you. Yeah. You know, that was sort of a validation and intent that you could try things to move forward, and then this one, I guess, is one where you're allowing things to come to you. Yeah. You know, if it's money, I'm open to receiving it. Exactly. If it's, you know, if it's even something as simple as, if I need an idea, like you were talking about ideas and steps or guidance, I'm open to receiving the guidance that I need. I'm open to receiving, you know, the idea that will help me go forward. Yeah, you can say it in any instant.
But that's it. It just has to be
that simple.
That is what it has to be. And just as you said, like when I was thinking about it and stuff, the earlier one with people, if they're, you know, looking for a job or something like that, certain words, like people may say, I'm open to receiving the perfect job. Some people, it might feel like, well, I don't know what my perfect job is, so they may say I'm open to receiving the right job. You know, so whatever works for you, but it's that simple.
Whatever works for you, but it's that simple.
But it's that simple.
And I think what I love about it, and it's powerful in, you know, not just say validation and intent, but it's powerful because it's also kind of allowing you to invite it into your life. You're open to inviting it into your life, so whenever it arrives, you can act on it and things like that. You know, I really feel that, you know, if you are in a situation, doesn't matter what your situation is, because as we've said, you can apply it in any way, but that kind of openness that you're sending out on an energy level, that openness to receive whatever it is, then it's going to come your way because you have kind of spoken it into being in a strange way. Yeah. Even, you know, you may be so busy thinking, but I want this and I want that, and, you know, wanting something, that's great. That's something you can focus on. But, you know, if you're thinking when, you know, how, how, when, what, whatever, you're kind of trying to put a timestamp on it. You're trying to, you know, put pressure on yourself, put pressure on the situation or the person or wherever it is. But open, you're ready whenever it arrives. And you know it will, because those words alone mean it's on the way, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And what I'll say to that is that the other part of receiving, which I just thought about,
which is good.
Some,
some other
people
might be saying,
this episode out could be feeling is you have to get to a point and place where you also, because this is receiving in different ways, but I'll just say it is that you have to be open and comfortable with receiving. Because there are some people that in life are used to giving or doing things, but if it's then flipped that they're receiving,
they find it hard,
money, or they're receiving a compliment, or they receive a opportunity, they can sometimes feel guilty or feel inadequate.
I
feel like I feel
absolutely
bad for,
concur with you. Yeah, and you do have to be open,
and you have to be as it says. I'm open to. That's good as well, because if you are someone who feels a certain guilt or whatever it is when it comes to receiving something that could be good for you in any type of way, but you just feel like I don't like taking,
and you're not worthy,
or like getting or receiving. I like giving. That this helps you with being open to that and saying, not without, you don't have to say this, but it's almost like saying, I deserve it, I'm available, I'm worthy of it. Yeah. And so I'm open on. So it's also good to say in that way.
You can,
because when you say I'm open, you're not resisting or feeling any guilt about it or anything. Yeah. You're open to it.
And that's a good point you made about receiving, because, we assume that if you want to receive something, it's like all of us kind of want to receive these particular things. But as you said, there are often times when you do feel unworthy and you think, you know what, I'm kind of not really worthy of having this.
Happens.
Or I'm kind of not really worthy of, deserving this or having it or receiving it, and there are times in life when you may get low and that's the place you could be coming from. And, as you said, even if you do feel in that place or you feel at that place in terms of where you are and, maybe you're thinking, surely it can't happen to me. Or, like say you want to receive something and you're thinking this will never happen. Or you want to receive something and you're thinking, gosh, in my wildest dreams, I know it can't happen. Those type of things, if you say I'm open, it diffuses those things. A lot of those kind of counterintuitive thoughts that your mind may say, like, you must be joking. It doesn't happen to you. You must be joking. You're kidding yourself. When you say I am open, then that diffuses those kind of thoughts as well. So, definitely, I really get that, because so often and so many of us do feel in that place where you suddenly think, I don't think I'm worthy. It's not even something you may say, but it may just echo in your mind. That every time you want something and you think about the best and you hope for the best, there's a little voice telling you something negative. To counteract your joy or counteract what you want. So again, I say, if that's the case, be aware of it, put a stop to it by drawing yourself to the positive, and by then also kind of saying, listen, I'm open to receiving X, Y, Z, whatever it is. Because you bring yourself back into a powerful place again.
That's it.
We've spoken about that quite a few times, haven't we, in the last couple of episodes?
Yeah. And I was just about to say that if receiving is if there's something for some people, like obviously there's something deeper there and this and that, then the self-awareness and the episodes
watch that episode
about awareness and things like that, those and reflection. Those are the ones that are perfect for digging deeper. If you're someone who's like, I still find it hard to feel open to receive, and if it's something deeper, then you need to self reflect. And we've done an episode on that, which will really help you deal with that part. But for this, opening to receive is just so powerful. And as you said, it diffuses any of those negative things that can pop in. It makes you open to receiving whatever it is that you would like to have in your life, whether it's through that exact person or that exact thing, or whether it's something else. But as I said, you'll always find or see that you start receiving sometimes ideas, you start receiving things that are unexpected, that also help in all of this. And what I'd say as well is that for people, when you do this, stay persistent, because you could do it and then be like, well, nothing's changed, or oh gosh, I just heard some bad news or something. I've just received some bad news. And what I say to that is, you got to remember that where you're coming from, you've been used to it for so long.
Yeah.
Sometimes there can even be like a latency of how you've been prior to this point.
Yeah.
Sort of happening.
And that change in energy.
More. So yeah, sometimes that shift it could take a while.
Yeah, yeah.
It may be sooner for some. It may be sooner for some. It may be longer for others.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the more persistent you are, just like exercise or anything, the more you do it, the stronger you get, the stronger things will appear and show. So just stick to it, do it. Consistency is key, as we say.
Yeah. And
you'll start to see the shift.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's a bit like the self-reflection where you realise in all instances you have to work on yourself.
Yeah, and that is a process.
It's a process, yeah.
It's not a quick,
not overnight.
Like, you know,
like a pill you take.
Like a magic pill.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
You know, because you think you may have been quite negative and, you know, not been open to receiving through negative things you might have told yourself. And then suddenly you're getting the knowledge to switch the coin or switch direction. It may be that you can't do it immediately, so you keep trying. Yeah. Isn't it? You know, you keep going.
Even it's like, you know, if you have a cargo ship, if it wants to turn around in the sea, it doesn't just go like that and turn. It has to, you know, like slowly
that's a good one.
And then turn.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've had a lot of cargo of stuff we've put on ourselves.
That's true.
So,
it's nice to see. That's a good analogy.
So
like you're full of cargo, you're full of junk.
So the sort of turnaround will sometimes
take time.
Take a while. It doesn't mean it's not happening. It is. Just, it might take a while. But if you keep at it, next you know, you'll be going in the way you want to. Yeah.
I mean, I can't encourage people who are watching or listening to, you know, this is like an important thing to try and incorporate in your vocabulary and your life, isn't it? You know, you know, sometimes you have to be careful of what is coming out of your mouth, because sometimes the negative stuff, you may be saying it on a daily, but not realizing that you are saying words that are actually very negative. So this is the start of saying positive words. It doesn't take too much thought to say it, but they are powerful enough to start to allow better things to unfold, you know, better kind of energy to flow your way rather than against you, or rather in the opposite direction. You know, you are kind of drawing to yourself the good, the positive, you know, whether you recognize it immediately as that or not, but at least a few words can help shift things in that right direction, you know. And you again have to have a little bit of faith and a little bit of trust in yourself, you know, when you say these things. You know, you can't say it on the one hand and then do something negative on the other. You know, you have to kind of stay true to that wording. You know, you can't say I'm open to receiving that and then all of a sudden your actions start to show something else. You're texting someone, you know, 10 times, and you really hope they'll contact you, but you can't help yourself texting them or something. You have to try, and when you say those words, let it be, stick to it, and let it unfold. You know. Yeah. What do you think?
No, I think that's true, because as I said, when I see it as a process, you should feel happy knowing that it's kind of like that,
on the way.
It means that oh, I did it once or twice or 10 times or something, or for a day or for a few days, but now you dragged yourself back in because, oh, I felt like nothing worked, or I didn't feel a change and this and that. And now I'm using that as an excuse to drag myself back to where I kind of was. When you realize it's a process, it means that maybe today you did more than you did yesterday.
Yeah.
Or that breakthrough happens. And it's showing you of what is yet to come still. So by saying those words, doing that, and knowing it's a process, you kind of take it one step at a time, knowing it's going in the right way.
Yeah, and like, you know, I mentioned one of my favorite things is like universal timing. You know, when you try and fit your own timing on things, you have to understand that, you know, energy is working in a way that it's trying to get things right for you. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. What was that film that I loved? That film where, you know, they work things out for you.
Adjustment Bureau.
That's the one.
Yeah,
like the Adjustment Bureau. Things are having to be worked out to come together, to match, to, you know. So sometimes it's a bit like that. When I say universal timing, you have to trust, like in that film, if you watched it, it's fun. Like the Adjustment Bureau, where they had to adjust things all the time to make things happen. And sometimes, you know, on a kind of an energy level, those things have to take place. You know, something might not be right for you. You may think it is right for you. You may have your heart set on it, that as far as you're concerned, you want that thing to happen for you, and you want it to be in a specific way, and it doesn't, because in the end, something better lays on the horizon for you. Something that you never expected is out there waiting to come your way and to change the course of your life.
No, it's true. And I think what you talked about timing, check our patience video.
That's a good one.
Because
you're right.
that one also talks about this as well.
Yeah.
How sometimes
you have to be patient.
Patience really, really helps as well. Because it's true. Like, there are times when you want it in the time that you want it, but sometimes you may not be, like, there's some things I even look back in my life and think,
I wasn't ready.
I wanted that to happen when I wanted it to. It did happen, but looking back at it, it's happened at the right time, because I thought I was ready back then.
But you weren't.
But I really wasn't. Or sometimes the journey you've been through and the person you are now from the experiences you've learned, good or bad, it's almost like you're happy with the way it's come now, because you've even grown and developed as a person. So it's come at the right time. And that's what this is all about as well, is trusting that
it will be received.
That it's definitely going to. And that if you have your own thing on it, great. You know, nothing wrong with working on yourself and this and that. But if it doesn't by then, don't feel down and trust, okay, it might not happen at my time or what I thought, but it's going to happen at the right time.
That's powerful.
And that's also good to remember.
And that's why the openness is powerful, because you are not trying to put a timestamp on it, like I mentioned earlier, which we so often try and do, because, you know, we want to know, you know, when and how. But you have to leave it to be open and trust. By being open, it will come sooner than you expected.
That can happen.
That's what can happen. You know, with things like universal timing, obviously, you know, not everyone, you know, might kind of be in tune with that, but what it is that there are other things going on beyond what you see, and those things can work out better in your favor if you let them be than if you try and control them. You could end up with something you didn't want. You could have really, you know, pushed yourself. You know, that's another thing. When things are becoming very resistant, try not to keep pushing it or forcing it, because you can end up with what you don't want, really. And that's been a part of, I mean, you know, this is getting off the track, but, you know, it can happen when you're trying to control, trying to push, trying to force, trying to forget it. Be open
and you know what?
And leave it.
I also think as well that sometimes, you know, open to receiving, as I said, sometimes you might just receive an idea that you didn't think about.
Sure.
Or something whilst you're pursuing, or it is whatever you want it to be as well.
Yeah.
And that's the flexibility of things too, because sometimes you might want something, but you might also receive an idea or
that is contrary to that, or
different, or like something, or you might even receive, or you might even become more aware of something else and go, actually, no, this is better now.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but that's where that openness is important.
No, of course.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a paradox in a sense. Like, I think it's having the two, but ultimately staying open. Like, we're not saying that you don't have no sense of direction. No way. And that you're just saying, well,
whatever will be, you know, you are in a way, but in a
so
way
we're saying, like, if you have a structure, because everyone's different. If you have a structure, this and that, but ultimately, you know, if, as you said, I feel it's when the resistance comes from trying to control things too much, that's when you need to sit back and become more open to receiving, rather than you're trying to force it. When will this, when will that, that then becomes a bit toxic and a bit negative, and like a bit negative. When you're open to receive, as you said, sometimes it can come sooner than you might have originally thought. Sometimes it can come around the same time.
So balance. You know.
But I think ultimately being open to receive helps a lot.
In all areas.
And that could be in addition to whatever you've put in
yourself, place.
Or if you have no idea and you need to start from somewhere, just starting from that place to being open to receiving guidance or something like that as well. So depending on what situation you're in, it could, you know, be a addition and something you need to add to what you're doing, because what you're doing is a bit more, you know, negative or grinding you down a bit. But then for some people it could be, I don't know where to start, and it could be
that could be the opening the doorway to where to start. You know, and things like that.
But it will always serve as a bigger and better purpose, because when you're open to things, that's when things, you know, can come to you, because you're available for it.
You're available and ready
in any type of way, which it is, whether it's jobs or guidance or money or anything, isn't it?
Wow, what an amazing episode. Hope you did enjoy this particular episode. We love doing them, and as always, let us know your comments and tell us a little bit about how you were able to, you know, either learn something from us or gain a little bit of insight into something you hadn't thought of, and then you realised that was helpful. Let us know in the comments, and we look forward to receiving them, because that helps us a lot, doesn't it? It helps, you know, add to what we're doing and give us more ideas about what we're going to share next and what we're going to talk about next. So I love that. Glad you were able to join us.
Glad you were, and as we said, we always try and see it from different angles, points of views for everyone, so everyone can leave with something that may be able to be applied in your life. So that's the main thing. And if you obviously like this episode, like it, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, you can join the family by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell as well, to know when the next ones are coming up. So pretty much that's it, right? Okay, well, until the next one, this is MumNSon, and we are done. Till next time.
Take care. Bye.
See ya.